50. 2 times 50. So 3 times 50 would be the equivalent ratio. Who knows what 3 times 50 is? 150. 3 times 5 is 15 with an extra 0. Then, who knows, again, if once I have 100 on the bottom, I've got my percent. So I'm going to take that 5 and convert it to 100. Who knows 5 times what will give you, I'm going to call your parents. I need you to be writing something. Is on this. 5 times what will give you 100? Is times 20. Times 20. 5 times 20 is 100. 9 times 20 is what? 180. 9 times 2 is 18 with an extra 0. Then, I've got my percent. Is this over 100? Yes. So this says 25%. If I unscramble this back, that is my percent. 25%. By the way, and it's right here, 25%, and this is one that you should memorize. If you get 1/4 of your test correct, hopefully not, you have a 25% on your test. Hopefully you're going to do better than that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one. So this one, what is the percent? 150, because that's the percent sign. I'm going to put it back into the 0, 0, and that 1 makes my percent sign. So this is like maybe I had a bonus. So you got more than 100%, you got 150%, which would be a big bonus. I wouldn't give that much. Then, this could be an example of my salary went from $5 to $9. Who knows what percent increase that is? 180. It's 180. That's my percent sign. 180, the 2 zeros and the slash. Then go over here. I'm surprised you guys didn't have percents last year. No percents. Wow. Oh, okay. All right. We'll get to it. All right. But percents are on the NWEA. Is that correct? I think so. So how many? Okay. That's not a percent sign. What number do I need on the bottom to make it a percent? 100. Well, can anybody see how many 50s are in 100? 2. So times 2 times 2. So 3 times 2 is what? 5 times 2 is 50, but there's only 3 times 2. There's not a 0. So what is it going to be? 3 times 2 is what? It's going to be, oy vey, going to be 6. And then I can turn it into a percent. Like 3 out of every 50 were yellow. So 6% were yellow. Then, who knows what you would multiply this one by? I want it to be 100 by 4. There's 4 quarters in $1. 4 times 4 is going to be what? 16. So what is the percent? It's 16. 16, that says percent. 16 out of 100 is 16%. Who thinks they know what we're going to multiply this one by? By 4. So again, I'm going to put my 100 here, times 4 times 4. And if I double 17, that's 34. If I double it again, it is 64. Or I would go to the side and go 17 times 4, it is 64. So it is, therefore, what percent? You're right. 34 and 34 is 68. Who said that? 2 of you. Sean D. and Genesis. Okay, we'll fix that up. So that's going to be 68%. Then this one, I don't have the percent. That's not over a 100. So I need to make a 100. 20 times what will give you 100? 2. Okay, 2 times what will give you 10? 5. So it's going to be times 5. 20 times 7, there's 20 nickels in $1. So there's 20 nickels in $1, and then 5 times that, if it is going to be 70, because 5 times 10 is 50, 5 times 4 is 20. 50 and 20 is 70. So what is our percent?
70.
It is 70%.
Is it always the top number that was your percent?
Yes. All right. So these are exactly the same. Don't be fooled by thinking they're any different. So I want to get this to be, that's not a percent sign. I need it to be 100 on the bottom. So who knows how many nickels in a dollar? How many nickels in a dollar? 20. Or 5 goes into 10 2 times with an extra 0. So it's going to be times 20 times 20. And then just double, that's a 2. What's 2 times 1.2? 2.4. Oh, I can't do it that way because I have to move my decimal. I can't. Okay, I think it's going to be 24. So I'm going to actually work that one out. So 1.2 times 20. I'm going to stick that 0 out because I can just bring it down. And then 2 times 1.2, like everybody said, was 24. But then I need to move my decimal in just one place. So who knows my final answer? It's going to be 24. Okay. And recognize, this is really important, know your 50%. 50% is half of the bottom number. Half of this would be 2.5. So this number is going to be less than 50%. This number, half of this is going to be 12 and something, which would be 50%. Half of this would be 12. 12 something would be around 50%. This is going to be a lot less. Anyway, so what is my final percent? 24%. Then, this is not a percent sign. That 4 is not a percent sign. What do I need to have to make a percent sign? 100. There's 4 of what in a dollar? 25. Oh, I don't want to do this one. We'll just leave it like this. We know that we've got to multiply by what? 25 and 25. We'll do that another day. Did you already multiply it?
Yeah.
That's a big multiplication. All right, so I'll go do the but. So that is going to be 34 times 25. So that is going to be 20, 15, 16, 17. I'm done with the ones column. I'm going to go to this. 2 times that is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. It's in the 80s, but not exactly. Did you say, what did you say? Okay, I think you're right. So that's, all right. And then a decimal was really here. So I've got to move it over one place. So that is going to be 85 over 100, which is what percent? Which is 85%. And these two we're not going to do. We don't have time. All right. Then flip it over to, let me see. All right, this is E10. I think you will need some paper. All right, let's do a few of these. We're not going to do them all. Now it says, in fact, could you do me a favor and pass out a sheet of paper to everybody? Not just yet, huh? All right, so go over to the very back. Now what you're going to do is you're going to, now they're giving you the percent. They're giving you the percent. It says now write each percent as a decimal. And this is super easy. So what does that percent sign mean? What number is that? It means 100. And so for right now, we're going to put it like this. We're not going to do this each and every way. What does this percent sign mean on the 9? It means what? So I'm going to put this 9 over 100. And you should be writing this. What does this percent sign mean? It means 15 over 100. Now, we're not going to do this each time. But I just want to show you why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Well, if I'm changing this into a decimal, I don't want the 100 on the bottom. I want it to be just 1 because 10 divided by 1 is 10, 11 divided by 1 is 11, 1.2 divided by 1 is 1.2. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move the decimal. How can I get it to be 1? How many places do I need to go? 1, 2, 1, 2. There's my decimal. 0.42 divided by 1 is 0.42. Well, same thing here. Guess how many places I need to move it? I need to move it 2 because you're dividing by 100. It will always be 2. So I'm going to put a decimal, 1, 2, 1, 2. So your decimal is, 0.0 because I had an empty spot. And now I think I'm going to take a shortcut. What's the shortcut, do you think? Just put a decimal at the end and divide by 100. Go over 1, 2 places. Guess what your decimal answer is? 0.15. That's it. And we'll do this next row. So this next row, again, put the decimal at the end, and I'm going to divide by that 100. How many places am I going to go over then? 2, because there's 2 zeros and a percent. There's your answer, 0.18. On this one, I'm going to drop that percent, put it at the end, but then I'm going to move it over how many? 2 times. And so what do I have to put right here? So it's going to be 0.02. Well, this one already has a decimal. You don't have to put a decimal, but I'm dividing it by 100, so I'm going to drop and divide. How many places? 1, 2, super easy, 0.625. Is that easy?
Yes.
And then go, that should be the easiest thing you're doing today. And if you're saying that's not easy, what's that? Yeah, hurry up and give it to her. All right. All right. Then, now you're going to take, now this is in the decimal form. If it's in the decimal form, like 38, and I want it to be a percent, it's as if I'm multiplying it by a percent. Well, what does that percent number mean?
100.
It means 100. I'm actually multiplying it by 100. And if I'm multiplying it by 100, is this number going to get smaller or bigger? It's going to get bigger. So if I'm multiplying by 100, it's going to get bigger. So guess what? I'm going to move it this way. So my number is going to be what? 38. This one, I want it to be a percent. I'm going to multiply it by 100. So guess how many places I'm going to move it to get? You're going to move it 2. 1, 2. So it is 4%. Guess what percent this is going to be? 46. 1, 2. And then put my percent sign. It is 46%. We'll finish up the second row. And then you're not going to have to do the rest. How many places am I going to move it?
2.
I'm going to move it in the direction of where my percent sign is going to be. 1, 2. So it's 94%. What about this one? Who thinks they know the final percent?
8.
8%. 1, 2. In the direction of where my percent is going to go. And so it's going to be 8%. What about this one? How many do you always move it?
2.
2. No more, no less. Always 2. 1, 2. Guess what it's going to be? 12.5%. And you might want to put that little line right there so you can know that there's a decimal that goes there. That's how easy it is. Now, And that's what you're going to have to end up doing on. Okay. So we're not doing any more of that. You're done. You're done. If you have those 2 rows, let me see. Hold on a second. Number 14. What time do we get out of here? 37. Okay. Alrighty. So this is the same thing that we just did. Make each decimal a percent. Let's do this first column. Who knows the percent on this one?
33.
Yeah, move it over twice and then put your percent. 33%. And you can just check off your answer if you want to do the puzzle. This is why did the teacher. Okay. What's the percent on this one?
47.
So move it over twice and 47%. And you have to put the percent because that says 47 out of 100. You can't just say 47. Who knows the percent on this letter S?
4%.
4%. Over twice, and then we put our percent, 4%. Uh-oh.
2%.
Careful. You're not moving it.
10.
You slow down. Slow down. And you actually use your pen or pencil. 1, 2. But guess what I have to add? A what?
0.
A 0. So this one comes out to be,
I was just kidding.
thank you, I knew you were.
Yeah.
All right, so on this one it was E, the 47 is U, the 4, please, it is mandatory to check your answers. If you are not, I'm taking right off the top 10% of all your wrong answers. So we don't want wrong answers. So this one is the letter S.
How do you do it again?
Hold on a second. Okay, we haven't done the fraction yet, so just hold on. So this one is 20%. This one is H. Or you can just you don't have to do the puzzle, but you must cross off your answer. You have to find. So are those easy?
Yes.
Yeah, go to the bottom. Make each percent a decimal. We just did it. Now I want to take off the percent. Which way do I go now? To the left or to the right?
Left.
To the left. I drop and divide 1, 2. What is that decimal? 0.25. Next one right below, what do I do?
Move to
Drop and divide. And if I divide, I'm getting smaller. So I shouldn't have 9,800. I should drop and go 1, 2. 0.98. Be careful on this one because there's only 1 digit, but I still have to move how many? So drop, put your decimal at the end. 1, 2. What do I have to put?
0.
A point. So it's 0.03. This one, what do I have to do? Drop. 1, 2. It's 0.40. However, let's check off these answers. The 0.25 is right here. Again, you don't have to do a puzzle, but you must check it off. The 0.98 is right here. The 0.03. I don't see a 0.03. Oh, it's right here. Okay. It's right here. But I don't see a 0.40. And it's this one. Because if there's a 0 at the end,
0 doesn't count.
well, it does count. It's like 40 cents. But you can, and don't erase it. Because it really was 40 hundredths. I'm just going to put a line through it because I can take it off at the end. So it's the same thing as this 0.4. All right. And then, what's that? You're right. If anything ends with a 0, again, it's going to be 0.50, but you can take off the 0 and 0.90. Then, let's go over to these here. Now, it says write each fraction as a percent. Who knows what percent this is?
17%.
17%. That is your percent sign right there. So 17%, done. Who knows the percent on this one? 75%. Who knows the percent on this one? 44%. Very good, April. 40%. Who knows the percent on this one? 23%. Okay. So we've got those. Check it off. Check it off. 75. It's there. All right. But now let's go to the bottom row right here. Does that have Does that have my full percent? No. It needs what? So I can, on this particular one, I could make it 100 by multiplying by 10, which is just adding a 0 on top and bottom. Now, does it have a percent sign?
Yes.
Yes. What's my percent? 60%. Cross it off. What about on this one, the letter S? Very good. So, but please put that extra 0. Don't just put your answer. Show me the work, how you got it, and make sure your answer's there. Oh, what about this one?
70.
Put your 0, because it wasn't a full percent sign, so it's 70%. What about this one? I have to cross it off. So put your 0, make it a percent sign on the bottom, so it is 10%. And check it off, or you can. Then, who thinks they know the percent sign on this W? 100. If you had 100 problems, you got all of them right, you have 100% on your test. So these should be pretty easy to do. But now, these are going to be a little bit harder, and unfortunately, you're going to have a little. Okay. You're going to have a little bit of work. So, now this is where you're going to need probably your line paper. Now it says, write each percent as a fraction in lowest terms. Well, this one's easy. Who thinks they know what fraction this is going to be? 23 over what? What is that number? It's 100. That's it. 23 over 100. Who thinks they know what fraction this one is? 7 over 100. Because that's 100. Who thinks they know what this fraction is? 81 over, these are two separate numbers. 81 over 100. And so that's right here. Some of these are messed up, so we're not going to find them. 7 over 100, I don't see it. It's probably in here somewhere. What? Okay, it's messed up. But I'm not wrong. These are correct, so don't worry about it. All right, then let's take this next row. So here's where you're going to use your paper. All right, so what is this fraction right here on the D? 10 over what? Okay, and put 3 problems across. What is this fraction on the A? 25 over what? Over, that's 100. What is this fraction right here? Over what? Over 100. That's how easy it is. Except, now they want you to reduce it. Who knows what I can take off on this one? Because it's like I'm dividing by 10. So my reduced fraction is 1/10. Then, on this one, what coin goes into both a quarter and a dollar? Bigger than a nickel. A quarter goes into both. I can divide this by 25, divide it by 25. 25 divided by 25 is what? 1. How many quarters in a dollar? Is 4. If I have 1/4 of my test correct, I have 25%. So that reduces to 1/4. Okay. Almost. What can I take off on this one? A 0. But isn't 6 and 10 still an even number? So can I cut them in half?
Yeah.
So half of 6 is 3. Half of 10 is 5. So that reduces to 3 over 5. Okay. So let's find those 3 answers. 1/10, 1/10, 1/4. Again, you must be checking these answers. 3/5. I think the 2 that were cut off were these up here. All right. Let's go to the next row. The I, the O, and the T. We'll do them all at the same time. The I is what fraction? 90 over 100. It put it in the middle of my page. What's this as a fraction? Dominic, get this down, please. 35 over 100. What is this one as a fraction? 2 over 100. Is this easy so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the only thing that they want us to go back and do is reduce it. Who thinks they know what this one's going to be? 9 over 10, and I can't reduce it anymore. So that's 9 over 10. If I have 9 problems right out of 10, I have a 90% on my test. Then, and that's right here again. Then, what goes into 35 and 100? Cameron, get it down. So we're dividing it both by 5 by 5. 35 divided by 5 is what? 7. How many nickels in a dollar? Start learning your money. How many nickels in a dollar? Oh, people. Okay, people. I'm saying, is that a dime? Okay, look at also this way. Listen, watch, girls and boys. Watch, have your eyes up here. I need you to watch. Does 5 go into 10?
Yes.
How many times does 5 go into 10? 2, with an extra 0. It is 20. So the fraction here is 7 over 20. And if you don't have room, you can do it diagonal. And that is right here. Then, this one's pretty easy. Who thinks they know the reduced fraction? 1 over 50. I cut it in half. Half of 100 is 50. Let's finish those up. Alrighty. Here's one that I want you to memorize. Because if I have 75 cents, because this is like 75 cents, 75 hundredths. How much is 75 cents? It's how many quarters out of a dollar?
3.
It's 3 quarters, 3/4. And we're going to see. So let's make this a fraction. 75 over 100. What is this one? 5 over 100. What is this one? 50 over 100. By the way, you can almost guess on this last one. If you have 50% on your test, how much of your test did you get right? Half. This is going to end up being a half. In fact, we'll do that one first. We can cut off a 0. And then does 5 go into 10? So we're going to divide it by 5, which is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So that is 1/2. Then, let's suppose you got a 5% discount. Well, I don't know if, I can't do it that way. That's not a good example. So does 5 go into 100?
Yes.
So divided by 5, we just had that a little bit ago. 5 divided by 5 divided by 5 is 1. How many nickels in 100? 20. So, Tennyson, chill. All right, 1 over 20. And again, there's my 1/2. There's my 1 over 20. 75. You should know that 75 cents is 3 quarters. Should end up being 3/4. But a quarter goes into both of these. How many quarters in 75 cents? Tennyson, get it together. 3. How many quarters in a dollar? 4. So that comes down to 3/4. So 3/4 is somewhere. Well, oh, it's right here. All righty. So we don't have a lot of time, but here's what you're going to end up finishing. You're going to have a little bit of homework, 7th graders. But this is just moving the decimal. This is just moving the decimal. We almost finished with all of these. These are simple. What percent is this one? 8%. Done. What percent is this one? 3%. Done. What percent is this one? 5%. So the rest of these, girls and boys, are just moving the decimals in this section. But go over to the Dexter. This is one where I don't think you need your paper anymore. Okay. So you're going to write each fraction as a percent. Is this a percent sign, this 5? It has to be a what? So I'm going to put 100 here. In fact, I'm going to put 100 on everything. Go straight down your worksheet, put 100. I'm on the Dexter. Okay. 100, 100, 100. Yep, because we want, what number do we want? We want a percent sign. Isn't 100 equal to a 0 and a 0 and a slash? That's what we want. These are equivalent. It's equal to 100. So and you're going to have to do that on the other side. So I'm going to help you get started. So 5 times what is 100? 2 with an extra 0, it is 20. So what is that fraction? And then we'll go back and put the percent. 10 times what will give you 100? People, how many? How many dimes in a dollar? 10. So in fact, 10 times 1 is 10 with an extra 0. So it's 10 times 10. So it's going to be 9 times 10 is 90. How many quarters in a dollar? 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 4 and 4. So what's 3 times 4? 12. Okay. How many 50 cents is in a dollar? How many 50s make 100? 2. So times 2 times 2. What is that number on top then? 2. How many nickels in a dollar? People are go like this. 5 times what is a 10? 2 with an extra 0, 20. And 20. What is my top number? 60. Who knows 10 times what will give me 100? 10 people. 10. 10. So who knows my top number? Okay, Jennison, just a second. 10 times 10 is 100. 7 times 10 is what? 70. On this one, 20 times what? 5. Very good. Now this one, 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 7 is 35. What's 50 and 35? 85. How many quarters in a dollar? This is the work that is mandatory. You need to have this on this side and this other side. So 4 times 4 is 16. I'm going to carry that. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So now that I have them all over 100, what is the percent on the A? 40%. What's the percent on this one? 90. What's the percent on this one? 12. What's the percent on this one? 2. Is that easy? What's the percent on this one? 60. What's the percent on this one? What's the percent on this one? Because it's 85 over that percent sign, which is 85. So everything is involved with hundreds. 96 over what? I'm sorry, what percent is this one? 96%. And then you can look later and cross those off. But now, go over to this side. I'm going to help you with these. Write each percent as a fraction in lowest terms. So we're going to start each of them as a fraction. This is 20 over what number?
100.
It's 20 over 100. Write that down now. 20 over 100. What's this one? 15 over. Put it real close to this so we can have room to work. 15 over 100. What's this one as a fraction? 25 over 100. What's this one as a fraction? 30 over 100. What is this one as a fraction? 4 over 100. What is this one as a fraction? 18 over 100. And then when you're starting yours, I would do the same thing like I'm doing. Don't try to reduce anything yet. What is this one as a fraction? 13 over 100. What is this one as a fraction? And if you're real smart, you're going to be checking your answers because you're going to find out that only one of these is correct. Only one. Because guess what we haven't done? We haven't put it in lowest terms. So the only one that's in lowest terms is this S, which is the 13 over 100. So that is right here. Then, what could I do to this one? Well, but what can I cross off right away? A 0 and a 0, and then cut 2 and 10 in half. What's that going to be? 1 over 5. What can I divide both of these by? By 5.
Wait, is that a 5 or 2?
No, we cut the 2 in half. Half of 2 is 1.
Oh.
Half of 10 is 5. And this is divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is what? And if you need to use your paper, you can. 3 over, how many nickels in 100? 20. And again, be smart, be wise, check your answer. Okay, then, and 1/5 is right here. Then, oh, quarters. Doesn't, yeah. So I can divide both of these by 25. 25 divided by 25 is what? 1. How many quarters in a dollar? So it's 1/4. Oh, this is an easy one.
3 over 10.
Yeah, because I can cut off a 0, cut off a 0. It is 3 over 10. Does 4 go into 100?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. There's 4 of what coin in a dollar? 25. There's 4 quarters. So 3, did I already mark 3 tenths? 3 tenths. And 1 over 25. And this one I'm just going to cut in half because I don't know. Half of 18 is 9. Half of 100 is what? 50. And that can't be broken up again because only 3 goes into it, 3 doesn't go into that. So is that there? Yeah, right here. All right. Then this one's already reduced. And we already crossed it off. Oh, this is a hard one. What goes into 95 and 100? How about 5? So 100 divided by 5, that's 20 nickels. And this one, if I had one more nickel, it would be 20. It's going to be 19. And if you didn't know, you'd have to go 95 divided by 5 and divide it through. And it goes into that 9 times. So it is 19 over 20. And again, be smart so you don't lose points. So your job again is finish this column. You're going to finish this column. This column, in other words, you're finishing all of that. And then you're going to finish this here. Alrighty? I don't know. Do number E. Okay, no, let him do it. He can do it. Okay. All right, so girls and boys, you don't have a lot of time. You can actually probably move these decimals real fast.
No, we cannot. It's already finished.
Are you finished with everything?
37.
What time do we